Well, alright, alright, alright. The heck is that? A scooter with no muffler, I'm guessing. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here. Making it work with me. I'm Jimmy if you're new. Most of you probably know me by now. But just in case, we got to do the standard intro because getting a lot of new viewers lately. The algorithm is doing much better to us this month than it was a couple months ago, boy. Woo. It was getting really light. The channel's always been growing, but it just grows at different rates. It grows really fast, it grows really slow. And I think that depends on how often they show the awesome potential at making it work YouTube channel. We learn things, we have fun, we admire beautiful sunrise, sky. 64 degrees this morning. It's cold. 64 is ridiculous. I was wearing a jacket, I took it off so you wouldn't make fun of me. I'm just kidding, I don't care, you can make fun of me if you want, it doesn't bother me. We are gonna go in a shop today, fix some cars. We might work on a Ferrari, we might mount some tires, we might do some oil changes. Possibilities are endless. One minute you're rebuilding a Ferrari engine, and the next minute you're doing an oil change. We do it all. We don't turn anything away. If they say, can you do this? I go, yep. So, project trucks, making a little headway. Haven't worked on it this week yet, but that's from last Sunday. We're gonna see if we can work on it some more again this Sunday before we go on our cruise. If you haven't been cruising, it's a little expensive up front because you pay for everything ahead of time. So it makes it feel more expensive, but when it's all said and done at the end of a vacation, I spend less on a cruise than I would if I just went to Disney or something like that. Something to think about. If you want to try it, a 3-day cruise is the way to go. See how you like it. Royal Caribbean's awesome. When I started cruising, I was hooked right away. I knew that's something we were going to do at least once a year, and it's been about 14, 15 years now. Save up all year to go on one cruise a year, and the past couple of years we've been going on 2. My wife likes it a lot too. Anyway, this is the last day in the shop before my vacation. You guys know there's 2,800 videos on the channel's main page to watch. If you haven't seen them all, about I think 1,500, 1,800 of those are shorts. I try to make a short every day because they seem to get the most views. In any event, we're not here for that. We are here to fix cars, get people back on the road, and keep the world moving. That's what mechanics do. So I take it very seriously, although I kid around about it a little bit too, because life is short. You gotta keep a smile on your face, and I make light of it, but I don't take it lightly, if that makes sense. So in any event, let's finish getting this place open up, straighten up some things, and get in there and make it happen today. What do you say? Want to make it work? Stay tuned. Oh, look at that son of a gun. 2022 Lexus luxury SUV. I gotta say, I'm a little bit jealous. These are nice cars. Look at that interior. 46,000 miles. Love rating of 8. It's basically brand new. 2022. I think it's an RX330 or something. One of you Lexus SUV experts might know. It's got like a fabric on the plastic here. It's very light, like velvet. I don't know. Anyway, what we're doing on this, a battery and 4 tires in alignment. It's from yesterday. I thought I was going to do it yesterday around 2 o'clock, but got pushed aside. Now it's going to get pushed to the front, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets put on hold again, but we'll see. I don't think they're in a rush for it. No big deal. Alright, there's a battery hold down hole here for the bolt. Right there. Got a battery box. Old fashioned hold down Toyota style, just like days gone by. Not much has changed. I'm trying to find a wheel lock key. I got about 10-15 minutes in it so far. But I'm gonna have to ask, I guess. I was all motivated when I found this. Key for wheel locks. No wheel lock. Unless it's hidden like in this garage door opener. Anyway, we're looking. We're still looking. We're gonna find it eventually. I know it. I gotta get my hour for my tires. Well, I spent 10-15 minutes looking around the shop for a battery, see if someone dropped parts here or something, or it wasn't in our battery inventory. So I went up to ask about the wheel lock key, and I mentioned the battery. He had it next to his desk. Perfect. At least we found it. That's the good news. Like a well-oiled machine, man. That is good stuff. I don't really need this because it's got its own strap. You can clean these terminals up a little bit. They're really not in bad shape. I did have to spray some cleaner on this one, so we'll wire brush them out a little bit with this handy dandy battery terminal cleaning tool. Well, can't really see in there. You know, I can. Probably shouldn't do that. Trick is getting that down that little hole down there. Yeah, they're trying to find the wheel lock key. Got me an emergency oil change. 2012 Chevy Sonic. She said, I don't want an inspection, don't sell me nothing, just change my oil. Okay, we'll get it right in. The oil change sticker was 5,000 miles overdue, and the sticker was in pretty bad shape. I can hardly even tell. They fade in the sun when they're on there for a long time. Ooh, this poor thing's got some oil leaks, got some dry rotted tires. The passenger door doesn't close. I tried closing it fully. It doesn't. It just pops open halfway. Something wrong with the latch probably, but she's like, don't sell me nothing. Okay. I had looked in the spare tire area, but it wasn't by the spare tire, and there was a bag of tools in the one bin. It wasn't in there. I gave up, but it was in the bin further forward. You got to lift all, there's like 3 mats in the back. You got to lift them all up and look in the front of the storage bins. There it was, just waiting to be put to use. Big old 20-inch cars, high performance. Lexus SUV takes big old high performance time. These are Michelin's too, boy. Ooh, that's fancy. I'll tell you what, they don't give you a lot of tread on them. They come with like 9 millimeters of tread. Well, most tires have 12. Michelin's like, we don't need that much rubber on our tires. They're superior. Get a rubber. Like my pocket screwdriver is higher than the rubber. My pocket screwdriver is about 12 millimeters. Michelin. Apparently Michelin's putting profit first too. Michelin's like, our tires don't have heavy spots or light spots. They're perfect. These things are heavy. I haven't taken any of the weights off. I just like to spin them and see where it is. Once in a while you'll get them to 0. And you're like, sweet. Oh yeah. Take the weights off, it might be 0. Got better, but not better enough. I mark the tire. I do the 1.5 on the outside of the wheel, which is, that's the outside, that's the inside of the wheel, just like it sits on the machine. Mark the tire, put the 1.5 on there, then I'll bring up the 0.75, put a mark on the wheel where the 0.75 goes. $51, 1.5, boom. Like it was meant to be. Couple love taps. Now, 0.75. Here we go. No, those are too thick. I don't like those big old. Here you go. 1/4 ounce each times tree, 0.75. We'll take it. Point nothing. I like that. Ooh, we got to empty this garbage soon. What do you think? I'm going on vacation. Hopefully it'll be empty when I get back. And you guys know these are directional, right? Valve stem above the logo, facing down. Boom. Pretty cool. Oh, almost. There you go. I didn't think it was possible to put it too far in. If you're new here, I'll put the wheel lock on the valve stem stud, either directly at or directly across, depending on how it's aligned. That way it does two things. Lets me know if someone else has had the wheels off since I worked on it last. And when I'm putting the locks on to do the torque, I know that that lock nut is going to be oriented with the valve stem, so it's easier to find. Just a simple little thing that entertains me. I like it. Monument, let's do it. Oh, this thing sets the parking brake. I can't push the plate back. I want to get the plate under the wheel about that much more. Oop. Reset it for the next guy. Wait, I am the next guy. What the heck? This is the part where it wants me to get up in there and drive it forward. Oh, that's nice. We got some adjustment to do, man. I didn't think the rear toe would be off like that, but that's alright. That's where that goes. What's going on with that? Thought I saw the manager working on it earlier, but just parked there, sitting there running. I don't know. A lot of things don't really surprise me lately, but it is what it is. Surprise or not, let's make it work. This should be the toe for the right rear. Turn this little cam. I'm not sure if I got the right size tool. I took some guesses. Don't worry, got another one on the other side. Only two. That's right. I want to tow it out. So if I pull the rear of the wheel in, it's going to tow out the front, right? That's what we're trying to do here. Yeah. Getting close. You want to see? You don't want to have negative tow in the back. Usually it's just barely positive, but this one they just wanted a little negative. Probably for superior luxury car handling. Faster cornering. Tow out will make a corner a little more aggressive, I would think. But same thing on this one. We're going to adjust this bolt in and try to get rid of a little rear toe in. That's perfect, man. Ooh, boy. That's a lock nut. The adjustment is the bolt, and the nut is what stops the bolt from doing its own thing. So we got nice green stuff going on down there. The total toe is perfect, which is the combination of each wheel. Everything's all green. So let's go to the front. Hopefully that's not too far out. I don't think it was. This one's got to go towed in, towed out, I mean. So I want to shorten this tie run end. Look at that, perfect. That is perfect. This thing's gonna be back to new car status in about 5 minutes. Lock that down. Look at that. Caster, I hope the vehicle rolled a little when it locked the brakes or something, because it looked like it was okay before. We'll check it, that's all. That's all we can do. Check it and be sure. Now if we hit print, it should show us what the saved readings were. The arrow's right on the edge, but it's showing it red still. I'm going to do a measure caster. We'll do it over. We'll see what it looks like. Now we got greenness. Should be able to print her out and have a Nice, perfect alignment. Of course, you know we gotta take it down the road, make sure we verify the wheel's straight on the road, just like it's straight on the machine. I already took the steering wheel lock off and jiggled it. Made a slight correction on the toe again. It almost made me turn the wheel off a tiny bit, which is kind of strange, but when I redid the caster sweep, it had a little bit of toe out in the left front, so I had to fix that. So I did leave a slight, a 0.03 margin of error just in case it was wrong. When I go drive it, I'll see if my calculations are correct, but I think they will be. I've done this a time or two. Let's go drive it and see, and we'll come back to it if I have to realign it, and we'll do something else if not. Don't forget to reset it. Oh, this might be a familiar sight this week. We're gonna start getting this valve cover back on here. I was nervous. I didn't want it to be off the whole time I was on vacation. Gotta put all these little O-rings around all the spark plug tubes. Then we'll glue the gaskets are 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. We'll put some RTV on all the corners like I did on the other side where it touches the seals and wherever it ends. And then put some RTV down the bottom edge of the whole valve cover gasket on the valve cover side. And I think we'll be good. Shouldn't be leaking after that, right? At least not for a while. Ferrari, did I mention already? Ferrari says every 3 years they probably will leak. So, all right, carry on. It's going to be kind of similar to the other side, but I don't know what else there'll be to do today if I don't film doing this side, right? I think this week's videos are all going to be kind of short. I apologize to the folks that like the longer ones, but there's 2 ways I don't film. One is if I'm super irritated and it's not productive for anybody, and the other is if I'm just doing something really silly like a flat repair. I'm not going to film those because it's not productive also either, you know. So my pieces of gasket right here. If you saw the other video, I cut them all up ahead of time, ready to go. RTV on both sides of the little ones, RTV in all the corners. We come back, I will be putting the valve cover in place, using my channel locks to squeeze that upper hose just about this much further up than I can pull it by hand. I'm not really hurting anything doing it, but that's what we're going to do. RTV in all my corners. Gaskets and O-rings all in place. Now, see how tricky we can do this. Ow, my freaking ribs are black and blue after working on this car. Benny's trying to tell me, I can't pay you that much for that. I can't pay you that much for that. Not the vehicle owner, the manager. He's constantly trying to protect everybody from the mechanics. It is what it is. Just do the best I can. Keep your head down. Get the work done. Whatever happens, happens. One washer, one nut, all the way around. There's also a spacer on this long one. Finish getting my nuts all over this thing and start torquing it. I've got to torque at least 4 or 5 of them so I can put the main cap, the cover on the back before everything sets up too much. schmear, like we used to get in our bagels up in New York. I've tightened them, I have not torqued them, but they're good and tight, so we'll be okay. Two Allens for some reason and 3 nuts. Can't say it doesn't work, it works. Cam sensor is a 5mm Allen. That's tight. Now it's time for coils. I got my wiring harness down. Once I get the coils in, I think I'll put the timing belt covers back in. I was nervous about putting the covers on because the hardware in the front of the valve cover, if you drop it and you don't know where it went, it's probably under the timing cover, and that would be a disaster if it gets in those pulleys. That's why I waited on the timing covers even though the timing belts are done. Five, 6, 7, 8. Fuel rails. Need one socket for each bolt. You got to make sure too your wires aren't getting pinched under anything crazy when you put the injectors into their bores. Get these snugged up. Got it back in the clips. One more fuel rail over there. Then I think we might be heading in to do the timing covers like I said earlier. A little bit of oil on the injector openings. Make sure nice and clean. The injectors. Well, it's not pretty, but it works. You gotta flex it just enough to get it past stuff. Makes you slightly uncomfortable, but it'll go. Don't you worry. I'm not sure which bolt goes where, I forgot. Oh, that must go there, that's pretty long. Hot dog, hot dog. That's the hard side too. This timing cover, for some reason, I could even leave the bolts in this one. Don't know why they decided to put all the hardness on one side and all the easiness on the other side. That's fine with me, I'm used to it now. Get them all started before I tighten any of them. If you don't have power tools to do this job, I highly recommend getting some. They're not terribly expensive. And if you own a Ferrari, what's another 75 bucks for a power ratchet? Sit here doing all these little 10s and all that stuff by hand. Ooh, I can't imagine. That's not only how much time it adds, but it's just a lot more work on your hands and elbows and holding yourself up in a push-up position. Have I mentioned that yet? I probably did. Most of the tools to do this, of course, are in my Amazon store. May not be the exact tools I use, but a lot of times I try to find something a little less expensive in case someone's a DIYer and they don't want to spend as much, because they're not recovering any money from the tools, except that they don't have to pay somebody else, I guess. It depends how you look at it, right? Now that I think about it. I think this is a little small for this Allen bolt, but we can get it snugged up. No, we can't. It's a nice thought, though. I don't know what position this goes in. But now that I know they pivot, I didn't even know they pivot. I assumed that it bolted through here. I didn't even look, because I don't really know anything about Ferraris, and I didn't really pay enough attention. It's my fault to not have seen that. But I'll tell you what, these belts are on here, and this thing's gonna be nice. I might buy this car myself, because we're gonna have gone through the whole thing top to bottom. Air conditioning, oil leaks, cooling system, brakes, tires. Everything's gonna be perfect on this car when we're done with it. Even new power steering pump stuff. Let's get this power steering pump in here. I'm gonna put it on my little briquette. Take this plastic cap off here first. Get a little easier, I think. Sometimes they have fluid in these, which I dump some of it out. It doesn't fit directly. You got to kind of go roundabout. If you saw this video, I took it out. You got to be sneaky. You got to be Ferrari sneaky. There's a few other things going on in here I'm trying to figure out. I gotta show you what I'm doing. Gotta line this stuff up, get the hose on there. We don't have the hose to go to the reservoir yet, but I'm just gonna get this in place, get it bolted up, get the belts on it. Hopefully, as long as, you know, something doesn't come in that needs to be done otherwise, but it doesn't feel like it's tightening. Listen, man. There you go. Went to a little sandwich shop around the corner called Paul's Deli. Oh boy, they make good sandwiches, but let's just say I ate too much. And I've got 4 bolts here. They're all the same length. 3 go in that. The short one goes in the right side of the pump. This is for the adjustment bracket that the pump mounts on. And then the pump itself has 3 bolts. I can't see any of this, neither can you, huh? Sorry about that. So I can get these started by hand. Spin them in with my little electric ratchet. Then I'll tighten the pressure hose. These are all Allens too. They're all the same size. I think 6mm Allens. 5 or 6. 6mm. It's a little bit bigger than the other ones outside the engine compartment. Get this one started here. Get this bolted in. And put the pulley on it. And some belts. I don't want to tighten them. I want to be able to adjust on these 2. If you saw the video where I took this out, these 2 bolts are the adjustment. This adjusts it. These are lock bolts. And those 3 hold it to the bracket. So, for some reason, there's more bolts holding it to the bracket than there is adjusting it and holding it to the motor. This engine opening is just big enough for some of this stuff. I'm on my knees and I've got my elbow perched on the console to hold myself up so I don't fall forward. Doesn't look silly if I do that. But I love looking silly actually, so it doesn't bother me. Where'd it go? See it? Oh, there it is. Get her off the ground from inside here. That's cool. One guy was saying in the video I watched that he put fishing line on all his tools, so anytime he dropped one, he could just pull the fishing line and get it back. That seems pretty time consuming to me, but I guess you do what you gotta do to make it work. Alright. Those are tight. These are not. Let's get the pulley on there. A couple times in case the pulley wasn't flat. I'm going to tighten up the hose, pressure hose, before I get too carried away and find my belts. Alright, I bumped this belt on. It's not adjusted yet. I just bumped it on, turning the water pump. I'm going to get this idler off of here. We got a new one. Look at that. It's got a little bit of an edge here, not terrible, but we got a new one. We'll put on a new one. There's some kind of paint in the groove on that compressor I'm just noticing. I don't know what that's for. To see if you installed and used it or something before you try to return it. I don't know. Anyway, not my concern. Let's get the power steering adjusted, turning this 10mm adjuster so it's good and tight. There is a, they want you to download a frequency app for your phone. They want you to download a frequency app for your phone and go boing and let your phone hear the frequency. It's supposed to be like 88 or 85 or something, I forget exactly. But I think it's something that if you've been doing this a while, you can probably get it where it's supposed to be. The problem is serpentine belts are not very forgiving. Too tight, they take out bearings. Too loose, they slip and squeal. So there's a measurement for deflection too. Some belts will say, you know, 10 pounds of force to turn it 90 degrees, that kind of thing. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll go to where it feels like too tight. Like, oh, I can't hardly move it, and then I'll back it off a little bit. That way I know I've got the belt fully seated. And it's tight enough that when it stretches a tiny bit and seats into the pulleys, it won't be loose. That's about where that is. I'm going to go a little tighter. I did tighten the pressure hose to 22 from outside the engine compartment while I was getting these tools. I'm going to say that's good. I'm going to say that's good. Tighten these up and recheck it. Moved a little bit, so I've tightened it some more, it looks like. Alright. Next belt, air conditioning. That is the narrower of the two. It's a 5 groove. I think this one I'm going to adjust from underneath. Lift the car up. It's got to go behind the crank because that pulley's quite a bit smaller. So I want to put it on there first, on the compressor. Now I believe it's going to go under this. This raises up. I got to do it from underneath. Be a little easier, I think. I'll set this back on the pulley and head down there. I think I pushed this up and pull the belt under it. Gonna need all my goodies. Why it's at the top of the adjustment. The belt's still not long enough. Need a coercion implement. What if I put it on the smooth pulley last? Maybe that'll work. It's really close. I got this pulley maxed out. I think the belt's got to be like a half a size larger, it looks like, maybe. And these were all special ordered. You would think somebody knew what fits these, but maybe not. I'm gonna try putting it on this pulley last. I knew that would work. Kind of knew that would work. I think the pink means don't go that way. I got to get it on the top of the pulley a little more, but it's almost on. We're even going to adjust this one. I think I might have mentioned that a couple times. It's all right. We'll be all right. Once you get it on all the pulleys correctly, there's plenty of room. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm going to use this to tension it completely, and then I'll just put a tiny little bit more tension on this side. I'm supposing that's what it's meant for. I couldn't find any information on it. Maybe one of you Ferrari guys will chime in and let me know. That's still a little loose. I'm going to play with this one a little bit, and then we'll get the other one on there. Then, start putting that cross brace in. We're getting what we call progress. Now the oil changes and tires are all done. Ferrari's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be fired up before I go on vacation, but I'll be close. That is good. I'll tighten down the jam nut. Got the 12. Now, you hear that? 85 dB. Actually, it's not decibels. 85 frequency. That's what I mean. 85 HZ. 10 millimeter. Jeez. I'm going to assume that's to stop the belt from flapping. I'm going to assume that's to stop the belt from flapping when this engine's really zinging. So I didn't put a ton of tension on. I touched it to the belt and put it up just enough that I saw the belt deflect a little bit and stop. I think that I can't turn the pulley, just barely. I think that's what it's designed for. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. Same thing on this side. It's pretty tight. Should be good. Got to the hold down. When you tighten the pulley hold down, it adds a little tension too. So, because the pulley, when it's loose, is doing this a little bit. So when you snug it down, it straightens itself out and pulls on the belt a little more, or pushes on the belt a little bit. Oh yeah, that's nice. Perfect. I've got just a little deflection. What I decided to do on the second one is just put a little deflection in the belt using that little idler. And that's Allen on that one. This one's a 10 and that one's an Allen, but we got all that stuff. We don't have to worry about it. 10mm bolt and the stud and bolt that hold the lower hose right here. Other than that, I think we're pretty good under here. Yeah. Let's put that, see if we can get that brace in today too. Get to about 220 degrees or so, engine heat and stuff. So I thought the silver looked like heck with it all peeling off of there. So just threw a little paint on it. And you know what? That thing's a mess. I'm gonna have to clean it up. Let me grab some super clean. That is good stuff. Careful. If I wipe this down and anything stays dirty, I can get a little brush or something and wipe it a little more aggressively. I'm trying to see how much it will come off the easy way. I did clean the valve covers up quite a bit too. I got 90% of the stains off of them. I don't know if you noticed that, but they're not perfect, but I got them a lot better. One more application. It puts itself in. Got to make sure your little rubber biscuits on the side of this transaxle mount stay in place. Just probably to keep it from moving sideways much or stop noise or something along those lines. Got a lot of little things to mount up to this. I believe these go right here. And this kind of gets trapped with it like this. Yeah, something like that. Have to tweak her back in shape. None of these bolts line up exact, so you just gotta love tap it into place. Get out there. Needs to go up a little more, but it's up as far as it goes. If you only got one nut, it's got to be a big nut, apparently. Just about out of 10mm bolts for all these tubes, supports, and stuff. The oxygen sensor wiring harness goes on these studs after the airbox is in. This goes on top of the airbox plates. This connector, if you didn't see the video where I took it out, snaps into place here. And this goes on here. Got to get a few more goodies going in here. And we can start hooking some of this stuff up. Some of these wires. There's a few goodies in here, I'll tell you what. I gotta have them get me an oil filter. I thought we changed the oil filter, or maybe I don't remember what happened with that. I don't know if they ever got me one. I think they were supposed to get one. We changed the oil without changing the filter, I think. But I've never heard anything about the filter. Let me ask them about that, because you got to do that with this brace out. So I got the PCV stuff I could put in that goes to this tank, and there's a hose in here somewhere that goes to the other side of the tank. Goodness gracious. Too far. This pick, the hose pick, is the #1 tool for Ferrari work. Use it on all the time. The belts, hoses, air ducts, wiring harnesses, fuel pumps. Once you take it off, it doesn't go back on. Nothing you can really do about it. It is what it is. Just leave it off. All the wiring and the air box is all bolted together, nice. Those are little tiny hoses, but they're very important. This is going to go on these mounts right here. I'm going to tighten those two clamps. Get me an oil filter. I thought I changed the oil filter. I don't remember. It doesn't look new. It could have just got a little rusty wherever the paint might have scratched, but I'm going to change it again just in case. We got coolant. We got oil. The only thing we don't have, power steering. The only thing we need to fire it up. I put the belts on and everything, unfortunately. Otherwise I could fire it up without the power steering pump. But now that it's got belts on it and all, I gotta have fluid in it so we don't burn up a just rebuilt pump. It's the only thing really left, the power steering reservoir. They got that little hose coming, the oil filter, and that brace, and then we'll fire it up. But that's going to be in the next video, I think. Alright guys, I got the project truck ready in case I get to work on it a little Sunday before my vacation starts. We'll see what happens. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Another adventurous day in the shop. Doing the best we can to make it work every day. A lot of Ferrari this week. A lot of jumping around with oil changes and tires and Ferrari stuff. I hope it was worth torquing the like button on your way out. Maybe you'll subscribe if you're new and you just found my channel and you're like, wow, I want to be a mechanic. I'm going to subscribe. More than anything though, I hope you'll check out the Amazon store. No, that's not really true. More than anything, I hope I see you in another video because you're awesome.